What's going on, everybody? K to the 2 here with PPL Division 2 Season 4 Week 10. This week we are sitting atop the standings and we are looking to stay put there going into the final week. In order to do that, though, we must go through Alex Onesie Bayonet and his Birmingham Spritzee. This season he is sitting at 5-4. Pretty respectable season. He's had some pretty nice wins. And he has a very threatening team. Now, of course, my team does have a Keldeo, which runs through what pretty much looks like most of his team besides the Latias, which I knew going into the match. If you guys want to know exactly what I brought, exactly why I brought it, all their spreads, all their moves, anything like that, make sure to check the description down below to check out my team builder for the week. It has everything that you might want to know and more about this matchup. So let's go ahead and talk about lead matchup, and I guess we'll get right into the match. So looking at it, he brought 6 Mons that I felt like Victini pretty much dealt with. If he leads with Latios, I can U-turn on that and get into getting to something. Really, it doesn't really matter. If he leads off with Hirayama, I can blow that back. Leads off with Tapu Koko, I can blow that back. Leads off with Lando, I can blow that back. Just pretty much, I can destroy his entire team with this Victini. And that's what I'm hoping to do. So let's go ahead and hop right into the match. Now I am a let's briefly go over the team that I brought. I have a Scarf Victini, Specs Keldeo, Scarf Hydreigon. I have a mixed defensive Serena with U-turn and spin. I have a specially defensive Stunfisk, which has my rocks, and I have a physically defensive Rocky Helmet, Toxapex. So let's go ahead and get into the match now. So we get to see. Let's get rid of the arrows, please. Thank you. There's Alex. There's his nice. What color is that? Blue? I guess it's blue. I can't tell what color eyes he has. Anyway, there's a blue eyes looking Victini, and he leads off with the Tapu Koko. Now I am a minus Bedef nature, and I could get really hurt by a Thunderbolt, but I will live, so I'm fine with going for U-turn here. Expecting him to not want to stay in with the Tapu Koko, but turn 1 we find out that it is a Scarf Tapu Koko, which is great news for us. It means he cannot lock, or he must lock into moves against my team, and I do have a lot of defensive coverage to take on what he has. Now right here, as we see, the Latias comes in. That is a switch into Victini, and it doesn't quite do half, but I am going to go into Hydreigon anyway. Now, I do have U-turn on this as well, and what I'm planning to do is just spam my momentum moves against him. So he is going to actually go for Protect here, which I found quite interesting. Also, by that U-turn damage from Victini, I could tell that he was pretty much max HP. Otherwise, I would have been able to 2 a KO with Victini's U-turn plus this Hydreigon's U-turn. However, it is not, so he is going to be forced out by my Hydreigon's U-turn here, as he's going to go into the Silvally, which we are going to see by this U-turn. Well, first of all, it's shiny, so like it's really hard to tell what it is, but it's not very effective, so I'm thinking, that looks a little pink, so I'm thinking it's Silvally Fairy. So I'm going to go back into Victini, and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to click U-turn again. I wanted to see if he wanted to stay in, see if he wanted to do anything with this. He probably knew he could take any hit, which leads me to believe that he is max HP, pretty defensive Silvally. So I'm going to go into my Serena here. The reason I went into it is because I figured he didn't really have anything to touch Victini, and if he did, it wasn't going to touch Serena. So he was probably going to either go for Surf or Parting Shot, and neither of them actually, neither of them would actually deal with Serena. So he's going to go for U-turn with his Tapu Koko, and once again I'm going to sit here and I'm going to go for U-turn. How many turns in a row have I gone for U-turn? Too many. So I'm going to go with my Serena, click U-turn, and he brings in the Articuno, and I'm pretty much forced to go into my Victini. And I think you guys can tell where this is going, because Victini blows back Articuno, and he doesn't really have a whole lot for this Victini besides the Latias. Now, Articuno here is pretty important for breaking all 3 of my defensive mons. So I'm sitting here thinking, switching out. We're clicking U-turn. So that's going to be, what, 5 turns in a row now that we've clicked U-turn? So in comes the Latias here. And good news is, well, first of all, we crit it. Now, Alex wasn't happy about that crit. I talked to him about it after the game. He was not happy with the crit because, well, I mean, who would be happy losing their Latias? Now, of course, my next play was, of course, just as I had previously said in my team builder, and just as I showed earlier in the game, my next play was definitely going to Hydreigon, clicking U-turn again, because that would guarantee that I kill the Latias or keep momentum. Either one I would be 100% fine with, and in doing so, I would keep my my U-turns going, and I could eventually kill the Latias. It's not like he was doing a ton of damage against my team, but it does indeed still suck. This was his only heads removal on his team, which means now if I get up rocks, it's going to pressure the Articuno later on. It's going to start wearing down the Tapu Koko, the Landorus Incarnate, into range to die to V-Create. So there are definitely things that I can now take advantage of, because the Latias is out of this game pretty early on. Now, that's probably like the first crit I've gotten all season that actually mattered, which is very nice. So like down goes the Latias to Victini's U-turn, which was very fortunate for me. And I'm going to bring in Keldeo because he doesn't have a whole lot for it. I was hoping he would bring in Tapu Koko, but he brings in this, and I know I can live any hit that this Hariyama can go for. So I'm just going to go for Secret Sword, because if he was a Spadef AV set, I didn't want to be taking, I didn't want to miss out on a 2-hit KO with Surf. So I am just going to go for the Secret Sword. We see that he is Flame Orb, which means he's probably not going to stay in here, because Bullet Punch won't kill me. And he does have this Silvally. He knows I'm Specs. We know that he's Fairy type, so he can take this pretty easily. But it still does a lot of damage. Takes it down to half. And now we're forced to switch out. And he probably is going for either the multi-attack, which would be Fairy type, or the Thunderbolt to hit us, and he does go for Thunderbolt, so I felt like Serena was my best switch-in. And once again, I can go into my slow U-turner, take whatever the Silvally wants to go for U-turn, and get some good momentum going again. So once again, we are in position to start momentuming his team to death once again. So he is going to go for the parting shot. Still faster than me, so I can get off a free U-turn as he's going to go into the Tapu Koko. Now right here, I'm going to take this as my opportunity to go into Stunfisk to get up my Stealth Rock. I know that it can't really do anything to my my Stunfisk, and getting rocks up would be fairly useful for his team. Now, I could potentially go for the Toxic as he goes into his Landorus, because I feel like that would probably be his best switch in, because A, it takes on like a potential ground move that I could go for against this Koko, and it could take fucking it could get in before rocks. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, so right here I was expecting either I wanted to see exactly what it would go for, and if it was going for anything, it would be a ground move, I felt like. So going in with my Hydreigon, it was going to be my play, and that's what I'm going to go for, because if he's going for an attack, it's probably going to be a ground move, but he goes for U-turn, which I'm 100% okay with. We see how much damage that does. It does a lot. But I don't really need the health on my Hydreigon, so I felt like that was a low-risk play. He's going to come back in with his Silvally here, and I am going to be able to just go for the U-turn, as he's probably going to Parting Shot, as he has done before. His Silvalley's getting pretty low. Probably doesn't have rest on it because he does have electric terrain on his team. So I'm thinking he's probably going to go down fairly soon. So he's going to parting shot once again, and I went into my Serena in order to potentially U-turn again on whatever comes in. But he does send in the Hariyama, and I'm thinking immediately that is a speedy Hariyama. And it's going to come down to a roll whether or not I win this roll. So from the health that I am going to be at the end of the turn, it's pretty much 50-50. It's more in my favor to live this this close combat. But as you're going to see, we're going to go down to a Flame Orb Guts boosted close combat, which is fine. I just went for U-turn because it would have killed the Hariyama and it would have kept up momentum. I would have been able to save Serena as a sacrifice later on in the match, but it's okay because right now we are going to go into the Victini, I think? Maybe Victini or Hydreigon. Yeah, we're going to go into Hydreigon in order to pick it off with the U-turn. So, that's what we're going to go for. We're going to go for U-turn. He's just going to sack it off. Completely fine. And now we're just going to go into, I believe, I just went into my Keldeo. It was either Keldeo or Victini. Okay, we go into Victini because I want to force something out that I can kill. And that's exactly what's going to happen. We're going to force in the Landorus. If it has HP investment, it might live, but like V-Create, I'm naughty max attack, so that's the most attack you can have on a Victini without being choice banded. And that V-Create just destroys Landorus. Now, no more Landorus. So that was like the last big threat against my team. And right now he has this Articuno left. He has his Silvally very low, and he has a Choice Scarf Tapu Koko. So he brings in the Articuno, and I could just click V-Create here, but I felt like the way he brought it in, it was probably more offensive, so I wouldn't be able to outspeed it. So I'm going to go into the Hydreigon, hoping he goes for like Ancient Power or something, but instead he goes for the Substitute. So now I'm sitting here thinking, I saw pressure, and Sub Roost, it's going to be kind of hard to take out because Flamethrower is my only move that really does a ton of damage to this. It does do over half to it. However, the thing is, with the position that he's put himself in, I will not be able to 2-hit KO it because he is going to Roost and Sub whenever he has enough health. So I have to pretty much get in with Keldeo on a turn that I feel like he's definitely not going for Freeze Dry in order to kill this Articuno. Now, if I put this Articuno in range to die to rocks, and he decides to Freeze Dry the Hydreigon, I just get a kill with Victini, and the Articuno will go down to rocks if he decides to switch out with it, or the Articuno will go down to the V-Create. So either way, as long as I keep the Articuno down below half as something dies, I'll be okay. So he's just going to keep continually subbing and roosting. Eventually I am going to switch into Keldeo in order to sack it off, but also to break the sub, which is the most important part. So we're going to Flamethrower again, we're going to break the Substitute, and I believe he's just going to Roost right now, and then go for another sub the following turn, so that would be the turn that I go into my Keldeo in order to kill off the Articuno. There's a lot of talking because there's not really much else to say here. It's just the same plays over and over. I'm losing 2 PP per turn. I only have 24 total Flamethrowers, and I think I've used almost half of them at this point, just by sitting here spamming Flamethrower to make sure, well, hoping potentially for a burn, because then I would be able to stall out this Articuno. but I do want to get in with my Keldeo in order to break its Substitute and to ensure I get a kill with my Victini. So he's this is the turn. Nope, this is not the turn. Next turn will be the turn that I go in with my Keldeo. So this was the last ditch effort to potentially get a burn on it as he set up another Substitute. I was like, you know what, that's enough. We're done with this. Going into Keldeo, we can't win 5-0. we could still potentially win 4-0 if we sack off the Keldeo. So that's what's going to happen. We're going to go with our Hydreigon here. Going to switch in with our Keldeo, as he does go for the Roost, which is pretty much the only thing that he could have gone for. And right now we are going to go for the Surf. Surf will be able to knock out the Substitute, and if he doesn't kill us, then we can do more damage than what Flamethrower was doing, which is crazy, but like barely does more. So we're just going to go for the Surf, and it's going to break the sub, as he is going to knock us out with the with the Freeze Dry. So down goes Keldeo. First time this season that I believe it's gone down without getting a kill. Don't quote me on that, but like, you could quote me on that and look it up for yourself to see, but also I don't care enough to actually go look myself. So right here, as I said, I am going to come in with Victini. I'm going to pick up a kill with V-Create, no matter what. So he's going to withdraw. He's going to sack off his Silvally, and that's completely fine with me. I didn't want to go for U-turn. Articuno was still an annoyance to my team, and V-Create picks up a kill. Now, if he goes back in with Articuno, I get another kill. So he's forced to go into Tapu Koko, go for U-turn. And in order to keep my win, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my Hydreigon on the U-turn. Why is this? Now, if he kills us, we can come right back in with Victini, as I now have Switch Initiative because he had killed my Hydreigon. I get in with Victini against a Articuno that is below 50%, which means I kill the Articuno with V-Create, or it switches out, I kill the Tapu Koko, and the Articuno goes down to Roxy. However, we live on 3 to the U-turn, which is completely okay with me, because that means we get another differential point out of it. So Articuno is going to be taken below half due to its Stealth Rocks, and finally we are going to be able to kill this Articuno with Flamethrower from Hydreigon, because he is below 50%. He cannot get up a sub. He also just can't live this Flamethrower. So Flamethrower is going to come out. It's going to pick off the Bobby, Articuno. So down goes Articuno, and all he has left is the Tapu Koko. And pretty risky switch here. I could have gone into Stunfisk because he could have gone for an electric move. But, you know, I'm just going to go into Toxapex and be a man. I'm just going to be a man, be like, you're not going for an electric move. And I was right. He went for Dazzle. And yeah, he had to lock himself into a move in order to try and beat the rest of my team. I still had a Stunfisk left, so I felt like he wasn't going to go for an electric move. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to Toxic and Scald a couple times, because I know he can't kill me in time. That's going to... Oh, what's happening? But that was weird. That was cool, I guess. Anyway, we're going to win this one by a score of 4-0, and we are sitting in the season 7-3 plus 19. So we are comfortably in the lead now in the standings. Now, depending on what happens this week between Eric and Ellie, and also between Liam and Chi, I could be alone on the standings up at the very top, depending. That depends on if Ellie beats Eric and if Liam beats Chi. Now, if both of those things happen, I will be way ahead of anybody. I'll be a game ahead of anybody that has a chance at taking me out, and I'll have a bunch of differential points on whoever is next in the standings. So that's what I'm hoping for going into next week. Okay, let's go back to the beginning there. There we go. That's the screen we want to look at. So that's going to be the game. Yeah, we win 4-0, and thank you, Alex, for the game. I love you. The crit did suck for you on the Victini. However, besides that, there wasn't a whole lot of hacks in this game. So gotta give the game props for that, you know. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, go ahead and hit that like button down below, and I will see you guys next time.